Speaking of Netflix, since we were talking about the Roma film, oh my God, the Roma movie that's on Netflix, Holmes and Watson. Well, actually, hold on. Let's start with this. Okay, so back in February of last year, we had Cloverfield Paradox was announced literally the day it was coming out on the Super Bowl, and it was a big thing. Paramount Pictures and Netflix made a deal. A sequel to Cloverfield is coming out. It's coming on Netflix. It's going to be out tonight. And everybody, I just remember everybody was losing their mind. They were like, oh my God, after the game, everybody stick around. We're going to watch this together. That's what me and my friends did. Yeah. We all watched it. We were all excited for it.
And then we realized why it went straight to Netflix.
and then everybody realized why it went straight to Netflix. It was a film. I thought it was okay. I remember on a previous show that I was on FM89, Superstar Steve, he wasn't very fond of it. And when I looked at Steve Pulaski's worst of list this year, it was on there. And I was like, damn, I still don't think it's that bad. And then, so this kind of started a trend now to where Netflix, at least in 2018, was buying a few films. And even a little bit in 2017 as well. They were starting to buy films from studios that studios felt is not doing too good with test screening wise, that we think will have a better shot at just putting this on demand rather than possibly creating a box office disaster. And Netflix was doing this, and hey, it's a free movie for Netflix. They didn't have to put any money into it. They just distribute it. They're basically getting money for free for distributing it, while the studio saves a ton of money on box office and everything. However, I guess, they got all high. Oh, God, I can speak English tonight. They got all high and mighty after making Roma and that new Coen Brothers movie. We're like, we're now an art streaming service. We're not accepting things like Holmes and Watson. That's right. The Step Brothers duo, they were back, and Talladega Nights duo. They're back for their third film, Holmes and Watson, where Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly play the two characters, Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. What is Watson's first name?
John Watson.
John Watson?
Yeah.
Oddly enough, John C. Reilly, John Watson. But yeah, they wanted. I remember when this movie was announced, I was actually really excited about it. I was like,
it's such a good concept.
Yeah, it really was. I was like, oh, these two are gonna be Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. I'm like, that's genius. I'm like, that sounds like a great. They're great together. I think Step Brothers is all right, but I love Talladega Nights, and the scenes that they're in together in Talladega Nights, I think are hysterical and some of the best scenes in the movie. That I thought, you know what, I'm down with this. And even the trailer when I first saw, I'm like, you know what, not every comedy has a great trailer. There's a lot of comedies that have bad trailers. Typically, they're bad comedies, but maybe this will be the one that will sort out. It wasn't.
It was such a great trailer. It was like, oh God, and now it's just bad.
So Netflix refused to buy Holmes and Watson from Sony Pictures. Sony Pictures was the one that did distribute this out. And this thing has just been on a decline the entire time it's come out. It came out over Thanksgiving weekend, right? No, Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
Weekend. I'm just having trouble talking tonight. I don't know what's wrong.
Before we came on, we were complaining about X-Men, so it's like a lot of our energy went into that.
Yeah.
You can go on.
But yeah, there's been plenty of articles coming out about people leaving the screening. I remember I got into a little comment section war. There was a person that commented on a thing like, Holmes and Watson has currently a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. And this dude was just like, I never listen to critics. They don't ever know what they're talking about. And I kind of got into an argument with him. I'm like, okay, here's the thing. Even if it had 20%, would you go see the movie to formulate your own opinion? Sure. When a film has 0%, something's wrong. Yeah. When not a single critic out there is liking a movie, there's something wrong. Should you go and formulate your own opinion? If you want to waste your money, go ahead. I still haven't seen this movie. I do want to see it before. It's probably already left theaters now that I think about it. It's been
probably.
And the number's up. It's 8% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, okay, good.
So people are really changing their tune on this movie.
That's what always happens.
Pity points. I don't know.
That's what always happens. It's like how Emoji Movie was 0%, 0%. And I screenshotted that.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Oh, because I was so happy.
And then eventually you have a few critics that go and see it and they're like, it's not that bad. Come on, guys.
It is that bad.
But yeah, what do you guys make of this? Basically, is Netflix making the right move finally? Stopping buying films like Holmes and Watson, or should they continue? Just pick up another man's trash to make it their treasure.
It's a lot of.
Because now we're getting We might have to take another break. Now we're getting stuff like Roma and the Ballad of Scrooges or whatever the hell the
ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah, it's a ballad of the Scrooges from the Christmas movie series.
No, I think it's smart for Netflix to start having more standards about that type of stuff because, I mean, yeah, you're right. Netflix is starting to kind of get this reputation.
You want to know something? Next Gen apparently was actually never supposed to come out on Netflix. It was going to be a theatrical release.
Okay, so that's the thing. Netflix was trying to be this film charity for all these bad movies.
The Walmart bargain bin.
Exactly, and it's like you don't want that to happen because then the image of Netflix gets lowered. Like, it's even affected like the anime section of Netflix that I frequent. Like, there was a show called Hero Mask that's literally just a cheap version of another Netflix anime that they released. Do you know the video Brian Mills jumps a fence? It's from Taken 3, and it's just the million cuts. I've never seen so many jump cuts in an animated series in my life. So yeah, I'm glad Netflix is getting kind of starting to take themselves a bit more seriously, so we stop releasing bad movies on it and lowering the image of what is a pioneer of like innovation in terms of internet streaming.
I don't know if there's more than one Netflix original movie that has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, but there is one, and it came up in an off-air conversation earlier, and that would be The Ridiculous Six, which is a callback to Adam Sandler being mentioned with Netflix. And of course, that's a separate thing because he's had, even within the scope of Netflix movies, ups and downs in how people like them and how they perceive it.
Well, even this, I'll give it this. I think that was a smart move because Happy Madison was on a decline when it not in like film quality wise. Box office wise,
people didn't want it anymore. This was a different generation of people that didn't grow up on the Adam Sandler movie than the previous one and a half or two.
People that grew up with Billy Madison, Waterboy, and whatnot. Like, eventually, it was like this was a smart move for them to be like, okay, we'll do a 4-film or like 5-film deal with Adam Sandler, and they'll only be exclusively on Netflix.
But that got panned, and they still stuck with the other movies. They didn't, cancel a contract or anything, and now he has his stand-up that was apparently really well received.
Yeah, it was great.
I didn't watch that, but I've heard good things about it. But it is one of those that could also be a catalyst for Netflix where there were problems outside of the movie with how Ridiculous Six was shot and the treatment of people around that movie, in addition to people not liking the movie, in addition to people not liking Adam Sandler, and that really kicked off hey, Adam Sandler's like a Netflix partner for a few years.
Yeah.
So that, as well as all of a sudden they've found success in the more artistic movies, that I don't know if it'll be a shift in how they operate in regards to what movies they have, but I do think it'll be a shift in how they screen movies, and I don't see a problem in taking any movie and putting it up there because there are other bad movies. I saw a Cedric the Entertainer movie on Netflix a couple years ago, and I don't even remember everything that happened. It was like it was called Codename the Cleaner, and it was almost dude, where's my car styled of like just random hijinks that don't follow a path. But at some point, they had to decide, we want this movie on.
Why did you watch it?
Okay, all right, here's the thing.
Why does anybody watch anything on Netflix?
I saw that movie when I was a kid. That movie wasn't a Netflix original. That's just
on Netflix. But I'm saying they added that to their library.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So if they're willing to have other movies of that nature, then why not have a new movie that's like that if people don't watch it? Again, what do you lose?
Name on it.
That's the thing, and
it's just branding.
Your question was it smart, and it depends on the person, like the viewer, because how many people actually just enjoy just picking up some popcorn and watching something like The Ridiculous Six, Jack, or like.
I did not eat popcorn while I watched the movie. I was just laser eyes focused. I'm going to enjoy this movie.
That's why you watched it?
No.
Well, for me, I think this was the smart choice because I feel like they're oversaturating themselves when they release too many bad movies regardless.
Well, imagine Holmes and Watson's dick. Oh, God, I always keep it. God. Holmes and Watson did come out, and now you have stuff like Bird Box. You have stuff like Roma. Is being pushed to the side because this is now getting all the attention about how bad this is.
But Netflix also as a brand, they are so much more than original movies or even movies in general, and we know that. Like, they are a cultural phenomenon on which other streaming services have popped up and started doing their own TV shows and their own movies, whatever the chronology of it was. So it's interesting to me to think, will this really change the surface of what is Netflix? When I think of Netflix, I think of people who watch the same 2 TV shows year in and year out.
The people that fought and
Parks and Rec.
argued about, Friends being taken off of Netflix, and Netflix
Yeah.
had to
was
spend
it taken off?
$100 million.
No, not yet.
No, they paid
But they
$100
paid-
million
yeah.
to keep it on this.
So,
year.
One year.
So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks to you. I don't know how Daredevil season 4 is gonna go because all you. Oh my god, I almost said a bad word. All you idiots had
All
to.
you Holmes and Watsons.
all you Holmes and Watsons had to like argue about keeping Friends, a show you probably watched 15 times.
Exactly.
Just, you saw it already, all right? Is it really funny to watch Ross and what's his face go pivot up a stair like on
Chandler.
the couch?
It was Chandler.
Thank you.
You're
I don't
welcome.
watch the show.
I watched it 15 times at least.
There
we go.
Here am I just complaining about when I've never watched a single episode.
I've seen it so much.
But that's the number of different. You could say Netflix is the home of movies like Bird Box and Roma, or the home of movies, all of the Adam Sandler movies, or the TV shows from the 90s and 2000s that people keep watching even though we're supposedly in peak TV,
Yeah.
or their own original TV shows, superhero or otherwise.
Yeah.
There are so many labels just within the title of Netflix. That would be my big counter to, well, you don't want to hurt the brand by taking on a movie like this.
Yeah.
They have so much stuff already on there.
It
Right.
could be that now, after finally getting stuff like Bird Box, the Coen brother movie. I'm not even gonna try.
Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
And now Roma. It could be that this is a turning point for them where they're like, okay, you know what? We're getting a lot of flack for taking Cloverfield Paradox, taking Next Gen, taking a bunch of other movies. There's that one Ready Player One game. Ready Player One movie that's like, it's kind of like, I think it's
Get Set Player 2.
no.
Oh no, Game On or Game Up, was that the one, or is that a different?
It's like it takes place in a virtual reality world, but it's about a
Ew.
love story.
Ew.
Yeah, and it was just a poor man's version of Ready Player One.
Okay.
Well, they have
So-
that one called What Still Remains with the box art that looks just like The Last of Us.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Oh, well, I mean,
And even the Christmas movie with
Christmas Chronicles.
yeah, Kurt Russell, Christmas Chronicles.
We cannot speak today.
I-
Paul Russell.
It is look. Listen here. You hear this?
Carrie Russell?
That is
That-
cough
that's
medicine.
cough medicine.
I didn't take that before this, so I wouldn't be coughing into the mic constantly while we reviewed Roma.
So he also dropped facts about like a lot of people die from being sick in early January.
Yeah, and here am I, sick early January. So if this show becomes, I don't know, the Alex Perez Picture Show for
Oh,
some
fun.
reason, or Jack's like jukebox or something, I don't know.
Jack's Jukebox. Yeah, I'm
Max
still looking for 80s
or
music.
Matt's Mad Mix-Ups.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what
triple
Chris.
M.
Maybe Chris is dead. Actually, I don't know. But yeah, so it could be.
January.
Let's get back on topic here.
Yeah.
It could be the turning point basically now for Netflix that they're starting to get. You got Scorsese with his movie about to come out this year.
Yeah.
You're starting to get these bigger directors making these bigger productions of movies and more like artistic movies that like they're like, you know what, we're gonna start saying no. We can make our own stuff now. Maybe it's just the turning point at this point.
And I like that personally because honestly, I'm like one of those people that are like, oh yes, I love movies like this. They're like the good like Romas and all
Yeah.
those of the world. Like I do love movies like that, so I'm glad that they're more cautious of what they take in.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Manchester by the Sea was an Amazon movie, and
That's
that
true, yeah.
that won awards
Best
for
actor.
Best actor for Casey Affleck. Yeah, and I mean. Do that, Netflix. Seriously, take on cool like artsy films.
And to Jack's credit as well, it does make sense when still like I know eventually the whole plan of Netflix is to keep stuff in house.
Yeah,
But it still doesn't make sense when they're like, yeah, we'll pick up a Cedric the Entertainer movie. Yeah, we'll pick up Scary Movie 5.
one of the best
And,
movies
like-
of 2007.
Yeah, we'll pick up like these trash movies, but Holmes and Watson we're too big.
Yeah.
Well,
We're
again,
too big for that.
How bad was it that they had to say no to it? though?
That's why I want to see it.
Yeah,
That's
what
why
is
I
it?
want to see
But,
it.
What
but
is
that's
the
the thing.
thing?
They probably, again, were tired of like all the bad press from like, oh man, look at all these bad Netflix original movies.
Yeah.
That they were just like, it's probably maybe they will take it, but they're gonna take it after it fails at the box
After it
office.
fails and
so
they'll
that way
pick
they
it
don't
up.
have to. So that way they don't have to smack Netflix
Yeah,
on the
so when
on
you
the
start the
corner
movie
of
and
the
it goes,
thumbnail.
"Ta-da."
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing, by the way, I liked about Cloverfield Paradox was the fact that it was just dropped like that. It was like a
Yeah,
very
that was really cool
Kojima-esque
marketing.
thing.
Like,
yeah,
it
like,
worked.
It was cool. Like I hope if they do the Cloverfield surprise thing again, which they did with 10 Cloverfield Lane and Cloverfield Paradox.
Yeah.
I hope they still
I-
do that. I hope they don't take away from that.
I
it was
love
just the
when-
movie wasn't that good.
I love when that 10 Cloverfield Lane trailer dropped. 'cause I was
Yeah.
like, oh, when's this coming out? in 2 months. What?
Yeah, it was nuts.
It means experimenting with the ways in which you can market and release the films you want to,
Yeah, and
market and release.
And musicians are playing with that a lot. Like Beyonce dropped Lemonade.
Eminem.
Eminem just dropped a random album. Like the musicians are playing with that idea, and I hope that movie
game developers, like, I mean, they probably were the start of it, where they go on E3 and they'd be like, and you can download this game right now.
It's always a bad indie though. That's not that good.
So you can download the demo to our tech demo right now.
Or they do the Fallout 4 thing, where it's like, it's coming out this fall.
Yeah. And you can play the Vault game.
Sadly, it was Fallout 4, but I mean.
Yeah.
that's in black and white, smoking always looks cool. We'll